Alright, g'day and welcome. Oh, try not to fall on my guitar here. There's a guitar there as well. There's guitars all over this room. Okay, I wanted to make this video last time, but I wasn't able to because my camera cut off. But I thought it was an interesting topic to talk about. I like doing these talking videos with visual aesthetics. You're looking at my Mark Holcomb Signature Series guitar, PRS SE model, and one of two of them. I have the 7-string and the 6-string. I'd like to have the other two new 7-strings too. This is the older Purple Burst. But I talked about in previous videos like how buying more guitars don't make you a better player, because that's not how it works, right? What makes you a better player is practicing and practicing and practicing. And what else makes you a better player next to just endless practice, okay, is getting onto the concept of what you're practicing for. There's some people lose interest in guitar. Oh, kind of how you lose interest in keeping your snare engaged while you're talking. Because if you do, you'll hear my snare. You'll hear my Voltron voice with the snare engaged. I'm 51 years old. I've owned 56 guitars. Not all at the same time, obviously. Right now, I think I'm down to 10, so I'm doing well. I'm wrangling my my guitar addiction. Anyway, the point is that for 51 years I've been alive, I've been playing guitar since 5, so that's 46 years of guitar playing. Now, you could say the first couple of years you don't really kind of count, because I wasn't really, I was self-taught and I didn't really know what I was doing. But from about 10 years old on, I really discovered a passion for the instrument. And I mean, with all the plethora of guitar players that I grew up with, how could you not, right? And I just, had the ability to stick with it. Now, when I got my first electric guitar, which was a 1968 Harmony Rocket when I was 13 years old, from that point on, it was pretty much I knew I had the fever, and, I was in it for life, right? And you'd say, okay, that's great. That sounds like a story like mine. But where I differ from so many guys that I knew that, started guitar around the same time I did, was how they kind of plateaued and it got so stagnant that they just gave up on it. And I never quite understood why this would be. Why would anybody stop? Well, I'm going to tell you another one of those back in the 90s stories, back when I was in my bands and stuff like that. As of recent, I got to see a VHS video converted to YouTube, of a band, my favorite band that I was in, Syndicate, back in the 1995, 94, 95, when we were together. And right after that band, a weird thing happened. I found that when the drummer wasn't there, the bass player wasn't there, the other guitar player wasn't there, and the singer wasn't there, that the guitar didn't, I wouldn't say lost interest in it, but it just sounded so naked without the band there, right? Because I got addicted to playing 4 nights a week in a band for, a good while. And what was weird was I found myself having a hard time motivating myself to play guitar a little bit after. Not for very long. I solved the situation fairly early on. I'd say in 2003, where I said there was something missing from my guitar playing, and I didn't know what it was. And I knew, obviously, I didn't want to become another one of those people that, I used to play guitar, and then I, just life came around. Now I don't do it anymore because reasons, right? I didn't want to become one of those people. I'm like, no. At the time I thought, I just have too much of my life invested in it. Even though I was a young guy at the time in my 20s, I was like, I have too much of my life invested in to give up on it. Like I want to see where this can go. Like, even if I never make it big, I want to see what I can do with the instrument. But I was like, there's something missing. My guitar playing, was it that I didn't know enough scales? Did I not know enough theory? And I concluded that that was probably the case, that I didn't know enough theory to really push my boundaries further than where I was at in the 90s, which I hit a good plateau in the 90s. My metal riffs were pretty cool and stuff like that. And I hit a level of musicianship where that being in a, at the time, a progressive metal band wasn't like, okay, this is the top of the mountain, but it also wasn't like, okay, I can't go any further than this. It was kind of more of, okay, if any band in the world called me up right now, regardless of the genre, what could I do with them? Think of your favorite band. Think of your favorite guitar players. Think of your favorite drummer. Okay, I'll say this. Let's say Nizo from Frozen Crown, the drummer, gets together with Billy Sheehan from Mr. Big, and Yngwie needs a rhythm guitar player. And then we get Fabian Ernie on the vocals, okay? This dream team, and they're like, okay, but we need this guy. We're going to call Reg. Why they would call me? Because this is my video, and I'm making sure they would call me first. Anyway, so let's say that this dream team of musicians calls me, and then whoever the keyboard players don't matter. I said what I said. Kidding. So let's say I get whoever the best keyboard player is out there. Thomas Jalapene from Nightwish. Yeah, that keyboard player definitely matters. So let's say I got this group of people together, and they said, okay, Reg, okay, Yngwie is going to be doing the leads. There's no way around that. He's doing the leads. He needs you to back his leads, okay? If you were to tell me that, say, okay, well, what songs are we doing? He goes, we got everything written and arranged for you, and you just have to show up with the material. You got 6 months to learn everything. Well, you better believe in that 6 months, I'm going to grind on that. I'm going to get that down better. I'm going to know Yngwie's parts better than he knows his parts. I'm going to know every little detail that Nizo is going to do on the drums. I'm going to know every little nuance Fabi's going to do with her voice, etc. And I'm going to work with Billy Sheehan until, okay, Billy, what do you need for this rhythm guitar to sound the size of Mount Everest? Okay, I need you to play this while I'm playing that kind of stuff, right? And then Thomas, what lyrics are you going to throw there? You know what I mean? Whatever. So I got the stream team, and now I got to go and play. Well, what the question isn't in my head is, do I have the skill level to play with these people? That's never been a question of mine. So I know I'm at that level that if I apply myself, I will be able to achieve this feat, because as a musician, I can play to that level. Why? Because I never hit the plateau of just learning basic chords. I've pushed past that. I've pushed past, enough music theory to pretty much communicate with even the most master musician on the planet that's totally a music theory geek. I won't be able to match them in, if they just say, okay, do a D minor scale in Phrygian. I won't be able to do that, but I know what they're talking about. So I'll be able to communicate that way. So I know my theory is up to the speed to be able to understand what I'm doing. So if Yngwie yells, okay, we're doing a 1-5-4-5, whatever it is we're doing, cadence, okay, I'll have to kind of remember what I'm doing here, but I know what he's talking about, right? So at that level, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, right? So then when you're at that level, the point I'm getting at is that things don't get boring, because they don't get a chance to get boring, because you can always push yourself a little further. Where they get boring is right after you get out of a band. That's where it gets boring, right? It gets boring because it's like, now what do I do? It gets boring when you don't get into a band and all you do is campfire chords. People that just learn campfire chords, I can guarantee you they get bored. They're going to get bored. They're going to pick up the guitar maybe once every 5 years, see if they can remember how to sing Kumbaya, and that's it. And that's fine. For some people, that's fine. You know, not everybody's meant to excel at the instrument. But that's also why people quit the instrument, is because they plateau. And then you got the other guy, that technique is not a problem, but that's all he works on is technique. And he gets to the point where he can pick any guitar player. He can outsweep Jason Becker, outphrase Yngwie, whittly diddly Steve Vai, whatever it is. Pick your favorite guitar player. He can outplay them all. But he can't put a song together. So he's got all this technique. He's got all this theory. And he practices and practices and practices. And guess what? It gets boring. Why? Because it becomes a chore. Right? Now, I don't want to go too long with this video, but my videos do tend to go long. So, I'm doing here for time. Yeah, so I'll have to wrap it up. Maybe I'll make a part 2. But the thing I would say is, I'll let the video splice because there's a lot to say here, is if you don't want to ever get into that point where, something that you enjoy doing so much and you love doing so much, and you don't want to get into a point where it becomes like a chore and it's like, okay, I've got no motivation because I don't have any inspiration to keep playing. Well, for all you tech guys out there that all you do is shred and nothing but shred, okay, cool it on the shredding for a little bit. Go write a song. Trust me, I'm telling you, and I'm telling you from experience, that when you write songs, all that shredding,